Hi, Momo. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining on time. Please share. I'm trying to share it to my network, so make sure you're sharing as well, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for my birthday wish. Thank you, guys. So I've shared with Mimi. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Welcome to the Woman Experience. Hi, thank you guys so much as usual for being on time. Thank you for all those who have joined in. Thank you, Momo. Thank you, Adeline. Thank you, Janice. Thank you. Thank you for my birthday wish. Marie-Angèle, thank you. Yvette, thank you. Thank you all so much. Hi, Marie Raina. Thank you very much, darling. Hi, Collie. Thank you all for my birthday wishes. Welcome to the Woman Experience with GORETTI. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. As you can see, for all of those who have wished me a happy birthday today, I appreciate you. As you can see, I'm in my birthday outfit. If you've seen my pictures on Facebook and on social media today, you can recognize my jacket. It's my birthday, and I chose to spend it with you. So I am really grateful for you for all your wishes, and I'm thankful that you're here this evening. Extra thankful today because I get to celebrate my birthday with you all. So thank you. We're here again today, 8 p.m. Friday evening on the Woman's Experience with GORETTI. This is a no judgment free zone where we come as individuals, especially women, to share our experiences and learn from each other. So most of us are not subject matter experts, something I learned today. We are not SMEs, subject matter experts. We are all just learning through our shared experiences, and we appreciate every one of you for always contributing so actively in the comments section. As I always say, you are our third guest. So I'm the host, I got my guest, and then you are our third guest, and we appreciate you for that. And we appreciate you because the feedback I get from this, honestly, is amazing. So many women message me privately to tell me how much they've learned from the experiences and how much every topic has touched one person. And I keep saying, if we can create awareness, we're here to create awareness, we're here to learn with each other, we're here to commiserate with each other, we're here to support each other. And if we can impact just the one woman or the one man, we have done our job. So I'm honestly very grateful to you guys for being here every Wednesday and Fridays at 8 p.m. So the world has been going through a really tough time. I mean, with all the protests going on in the United States on the murder of George Floyd and all the Americans who were suffering racism, and we can even extend that to back home, the unrest that's going on. There's a lot of, the air is very heavy. And so we decided that today, which is my birthday, we had an amazing guest, a woman who really lives positively. Like positivity is who she is. And you know, a lot of times we tend to be very cynical when someone is being very positive in life. You think, how can somebody be that positive 24/7? That's just not possible. But this particular woman, she has impressed me. I am so, I mean, I have such admiration for how she lives this positive life authentically. And I am so honored that she came to share who she is, her views on life and positivity with us. So guys, while I bring our guest of tonight to the show, I just want to do something really special. I got my glass here. So some of you know, I'm not necessarily a champagne drinker, and this is not champagne, but I just want, if you can give a toast with me. I know that Mimi Nkwepo, our guest of tonight, is going to toast with me, but if you can grab a glass of wine or something just to share my day. And I've got a piece of my birthday cake right here that I'm going to be sharing with you during the show. So sit tight while I bring our guest of tonight, Mimi Nkwepo, to the show. Hi, Mimi.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
I cannot hear you.
Are you serious? How can you not hear me? Can you hear me now?
I cannot hear you. Hold on.
So while you sort that out, I'm just going to be reading all these wonderful birthday messages. Oh my God. Kathy, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. Yenny, hi, fellow Gemini. Benzo, hi, welcome. Divine, Rachel, oh my goodness. Thank you. Tisha, hi, thank you. Jackie, welcome, guys. We're going to have a really uplifting show today, and I'm really, really looking forward to it because we need a bit of that. We need a bit of that. We need to work on our mental health because, like I said, it's very heavy everywhere. From this protest in the US has also, it's not just affected us in the UK, but it's also for a lot of us who are from the English speaking part of Cameroon. It's also kind of reignited that pain or rekindled that pain that we've been experiencing with what's going on in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. And so we really needed this show today. So I hope that Mimi reconnects, because if she doesn't, I'm going to go real superstitious tonight, because we've been here, we've been having an amazing time. So hi, Mimi.
Hello. This internet thing, it's crazy.
See, in Abeg, those in the comments, is anyone as superstitious as me? Because sometimes I feel like when I explain it to you guys, you can't understand. We have been having a chat since 7:30.
Yep.
And then just when I go live, you can't hear me. And Yvette, no, she wasn't muted because we've just been chatting. And then I just said, okay, I'm going live now. And then she couldn't hear me. But I'm glad you're here now. Welcome to the Woman Experience. And thank you for saving the day 2 episodes ago. We really appreciate you for that, on the menstruation conversation.
Menstruation.
Yes, yeah. That was really good. So let's get on with it. Miss Positivity herself. Like I said, see, I'm very cynical because I've been exposed to positive thinking and all of that. I've read all the books, but I just don't understand how someone can be that positive all the time, Mimi. I need you to tell me how that's possible, please.
All right. So first, I want to say thanks for having me. And I'm going to propose a toast to you for your birthday.
Darling. Thank you.
So to many, many more years.
Yes.
To being the powerful woman that you are, for strength, wealth, and health. Okay. But this is to you. I hope you have many, many more years. And again, thanks for having me. I'm supposed to drink after the toast.
Thank you so much. Ladies,
yes.
So, grab your glasses, please, and celebrate with me. Adeline, you need that glass of wine right now.
So thanks to everyone for joining this conversation or for logging in so we can have this conversation. I think I'm going to start off by saying I am definitely not an SME. SME, yeah, meaning subject matter expert,
Mm-hmm.
because we have the conversation about SME being
Yeah.
meaning something else.
Yes.
But I am not an expert, but I just try to do me. And I think that knowing who I am as a woman of African origin,
Mm-hmm.
I think in all of us, there is positivity.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to harbor it and dig deep down, and find it. I don't think I was always this positive. I was always very happy-go-lucky, at least until you pissed me off. But I was always happy-go-lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as I grew up, I realized that there are a lot of things we can change,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of things we can change. And our mindset is that one thing we can actually change.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to become a positive person.
So, what? Okay, for everybody who's watching, what was the first thing that you did? Is this something that you were raised with? Because some people come from really positive homes. Is this some way you were raised in that affected you, that made you the woman you are today? How positive, or is this something that you learned? And if you learned it, how did you learn it?
So I think it's a combination of both. As a
Mm-hmm.
very young girl, I think about the age of 13, and I know we had this conversation. My late granddad, the very first time I went to Ngyenbu in Bamenda, gave me a book.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of the book was The Power of Positive Thinking. For
Wow.
13 years old, on a summer break, you're thinking, what am I doing, with this book? Why do I have to read this book?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he says, read it and tell me what you get from it. Like, what's your take on it? So
Mm-hmm.
I read that book, and for 13 years old, it was just a book. But
Yeah.
fast forward 7 years later, I'm in the United Kingdom. I'm 20 years old now. I read the same book, and what I got out of the book was completely different from what I got out of the book when I was 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I started thinking about why he gave me the book. I started thinking about my environment, and I just started deciding that there are things that we can control, and there
Yeah.
are things that we cannot control.
Yeah.
Why can we work on the things that we can control? You cannot control death, right? So
Yeah.
obviously that's going to bring you sadness. That's going to make you cry. That's going to put you in a bad place. You can't control that. Why then you not work on something that you can control, like your peace of mind, like happiness, like positivity all the time?
So Mimi, you're saying that when you read that book at the age of 13, you didn't
Yes.
really understand it. So, but that
No.
was, but then, like they say, whenever you read books, they're stored in your subconscious mind. So when you reread it at 20, you had a completely different outlook on, or you remembered it differently, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So in the when you read it at 13 and 20, there was no aspect of positive thinking in your life, right? Was there?
When I read it at 13, I think as a 13-year-old, you're just a kid.
So yeah.
But but when I read it as a 20 years old, you already start, understanding what life is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So my take of the book, or my understanding of the book at 13, was completely different from my understanding of the book at 20. And
Mm-hmm.
that's because at 20, I understood life a little bit different than I did when
Definitely.
I was 13. But
Certainly.
I think it's always been, I think subconsciously, I've always known about how positivity will affect your life, or how positivity would impact your life.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't take me until later than even 20, because I think even when I read it at 20, where I am in life today, I wasn't there. I wasn't here then.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward maybe another 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking about this book again. And now I'm a mom already at that point. And then
Yeah.
I started thinking of positivity in a complete different light again for the third time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love that. Just to respond to Rachel is asking, please, can you share the name of the book your grandfather gave you? It,
The Power of Positive Thinking. And I will give a few books at the end, or one
yeah.
or two.
The author of The Power of Positive Thinking is Vincent Norman Vincent Peale. So I'm going to just type it down in the comments. Vincent Norman Peale. That's, and the book is available on Amazon right now, so you can check
Right.
that out. Yeah. So
Vincent needs to give us a share of his sales,
he
man.
really needs to, but no, here we're share. Don't worry, in a few years, in the nearest future. So it's a Norman Vincent Peale. So tell me, now you're older, you're in your 20s, you've learned about, you've reread this book, and you've seen the the importance of really practicing that positive thinking. How what were some of the steps that you took to be able to slowly build on that? To slowly make it a part of you, I guess, which it is now.
So I think for the most part, we don't realize how much our minds determine our lifestyle, um, because our mind is a very strong thing. And I think for me, the minute I was able to sort of sit down and regroup and
Mm-hmm,
start thinking of, okay, if I cry, then what?
mm-hmm,
This person is dead, then what, right?
yeah.
This situation was terrible, then what? So when I started thinking about, okay, I need to start taking bad situations and figuring out a way of flipping it into a positive. Like,
Mm-hmm,
okay, so this person died. One of the ways I can look at this in the positive way is, okay, if this person was sick,
mm-hmm,
now they're not sick anymore. Now they're resting in peace. Of course, because nobody's ever gonna come back and tell us that in the other side you still remain sick.
yeah.
So my positive mind will want to think, okay, now the person is not here anymore. I'm gonna cry them, but I'm gonna want to believe that they're in a better place. So you start trying to look for the good in bad places. I cut my hand. What did I learn from cutting my fingers? Next time I'm gonna be careful. So you start looking for solutions
Mm-hmm.
to problems as opposed to just drowning yourself.
But Mimi, are you trying to tell me that if I cut my hand and it's hurting like that, I should just ignore it and immediately start saying, "Oh well, I shouldn't cry so much because at least I didn't cut off my complete finger." Like, are we not supposed,
There you go.
when we're doing this power of positive thinking thing, does it mean that we have to completely ignore the negative? Because the negative thoughts are always going to be there. How don't they resurface? How do you just
So
completely ignore that?
you just said something very important. What
Mm-hmm.
did you just say? I could see the positivity already coming to you now. You said, am I going to be saying that, oh, at least I didn't cut it off completely? There's
Yes.
a possibility that you
Yeah,
could
but
have cut
I'm
it off
crying. The pain is
completely.
real.
It doesn't, listen, just because you think positively doesn't mean you don't hurt. Just
Mm,
because you think positively doesn't mean you don't have problems.
yeah.
Just because you think positively doesn't mean you're not going to find yourself in situations where you're like, oh my God, because we're humans, right? But
Definitely.
choosing to see the bright side of every situation makes life so much, much easier to live. Because if you just said by yourself that, oh, it's hurting me, but at least I didn't cut my whole finger, that
Yeah.
tells you there's a possibility that you could have cut off the whole finger. So the
Yes.
fact that the finger didn't cut off, it's a good thing. At least
Mm-hmm.
you're hurting, but it could be
Mm-hmm.
worse. It could always be worse.
So, Bate, you're saying something. You're saying always put negative feelings behind your back. But then again, when you get to go to to therapy, the therapist tells you you need to deal with the negative part. If you don't deal with that, you don't heal. So how do we balance that?
Is that to me?
Yeah, that's to you, darling.
All right. So this is the thing. The therapist tells you that you got to relive it, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think reliving it is you accepting that, okay, this happened to me. How do I move on? And
Mm-hmm.
that's a big thing with women. We are very, very emotional, very strong beings. We are so strong that a lot of time we don't give ourselves credit for our strength,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you go to a therapist and a therapist says, tell me what happened,
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point, the therapist is also trying to, and by the way, I'm no expert here, but I believe that the therapist is just trying to get you to explain what happened. But a lot of times, They say when you share things, you feel better about it.
And that's what we're
Maybe,
about on the show. Let's
yeah,
share.
maybe before then you were miserable, but you are not actually said the thing out. You haven't talked about it. And the
Mm-hmm.
therapist gets you to relive it. Maybe it's not the perfect situation,
Yes.
but reliving it gives you an opportunity to talk about it. It gives you an opportunity to start dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with it in the sense that it's never going to go away because it's in your mind, but
Mm-hmm.
at least you can get to a place where you can live with it.
And you can see the positive, no matter how dark it is.
You can
Okay.
always see the positive.
Collins says grieving is part of healing. Mourning is important for closure. We have to do this as important aspects of life. So I think that she's saying the exact same thing I was saying. Yes, we hear about positive, think positive, but then pain and all of that is part of life. So how do we get to a point where we can immediately deal with, I guess we can balance dealing with the negative and the positive at the same time, but letting the positive trump the negative.
Yes, I think at the end of the day, right, we all
Mhm.
have to go to bed at night,
Yeah,
right? And
definitely.
we have to make decisions and choices that is going to help us become better people or help
Mhm.
us heal. Now, we cannot avoid dying, people dying, people are going to die. Now,
Mhm.
we're going to hurt because we love them and we're going to miss them. But
Yes.
one thing we have to always remember is that the only way we're going to heal is only if we start saying, okay, how do I move on from here?
Mhm.
Because that person is never going to come back. So you have a choice to cherish their memories, move on, or you have the choice to drown yourself in sorrow. And
Okay.
there's a popular, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm so sorry to talk over you. Continue.
There's a popular saying that people always use, and it's like, okay, um, pity parties, right? Oh, you don't. I personally do not see myself staying in a pity party for more than an hour. No, I come to the party. I figure out how I can get you out of that pity party because
Mhm.
life on its own, it's a journey. If you are traveling and you stop at a point on the road and you decide to stay there, then you're not going to make this journey halfway. So we have to learn how to deal with the negativities that come to us that we cannot control
Mhm.
and try to flip negative. It's not easy, I understand,
Mhm.
and it's okay that it's not easy, but I think it's always a good thing to dig deep and find positivity in any circumstances that you find yourself in.
So Yvette says life should be a balance between holding on and letting go. But it should be a balance, but well, it shouldn't actually be a balance, because
Yeah.
if we're going to stay in that positive state of mind, which in the past I call it the new wave of positive thinking, we are supposed to, the positive should at least way higher than the negatives. But let's take it away from grieving or something that heavy, and let's apply it to everyday life.
Okay.
How? Just give me some steps. And also, guys, if you are a positive thinker, what are some of the things that you do for yourself? Or can you also share with us some of the things that you, some of the steps that you took to get you to where you are today as a positive thinker? If you always see the glass as half full and never half empty, what how did you get to that point? Because honestly, I'm surrounded by very positive people, and I've been reading these positive books for over 10 years, but I almost swore, sorry. It's hard to stay positive all the time. Like, it feels like hard work to me, but and I'm not necessarily a negative person, but just holding on and seeing the glass half full, I really find it hard. So what are some of the steps that you took, like practical steps, Mimi, that you took to get yourself to this point?
I think to start off, looking at a bottle or a glass and saying, okay, that glass is half full as opposed to
Mm-hmm,
half empty. That's a good place to start. Secondly, your environment, the people you
mm-hmm,
have around you.
mm-hmm.
If you surround yourself with people that brings the best out of you,
Yes.
you're always going to be in a good place.
Mm-hmm,
So I believe that they say, show me your friend and I tell you who you are, or,
mm-hmm,
as cliche as it sounds, if you are surrounded by positivity, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter how negative you want to be, there's always going to be that part of you that is going to try to see things the way everybody else around you sees it. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say your environment, the
Mm-hmm.
people you hang around,
Mm-hmm.
your household, right? You can actually start teaching your kids. I talk to my kids a lot about the power of positive thinking. I talk to my kids in any conversation we have, it could be about even reading. And if they read something and the comment is not the best, I say, hey guys, why don't
Mm-hmm.
you look at the positive aspect of what that person was trying to,
Mm-hmm.
convey, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to only looking at the negative aspect of it. And that's something that subconsciously it becomes a way of life.
I like this, what this person said. Aggie, real, real. She said, it's okay to cry, but cry while moving on.
Yeah,
And
that's
Bate
that's my
says,
girl.
even if you cut one finger off, you didn't lose the entire hand. So you have to be thankful and positive to move on.
But it needs a thumbs up.
But Brigitte says grieving is part of life and healing. The question is finding the balance between grieving, getting up, and moving on positively. And that's what I'm saying for some of us who find it hard. If you are a true positive thinker, like you, Mimi, you are a positivity bona fide. Like you are, every conversation I have with you, you never deviate. You're not a fluke at all. You really are that positive in real life. So if there's any other person like that who is watching us, any of our guests, just again share practical tips. Mimi, we're going to go now. Practical tips. The first one you've said, surround yourself with positive people. What next? Because I'm surrounded by positive people, but man.
So
This person says, pay the merveille, says, pray and stay away from
that's
negativity.
my baby.
Pay the merveille. Can we really just pray negativity away? Is that a reality? Can we pray the negativity away?
I guess she's trying to say, if you believe and you have strong conviction and you stay positive, things are gonna be okay.
Hmm. Right. And
You know.
Yvette says, spend time with positive people. In short, Vera, Yvette, they're all agreeing with you to spend time. To stay positive, Francisco says, is always, you have to remember, wherever difficulties you're facing in this world, there are a lot of people who wish to be in your position.
That's my boy.
Francisco, you
All
can
the
know,
positive people. He's one
you
of
can
my people.
you can know that, but it doesn't mean that
He's been listening to me too much.
he's been listening to you too much. Anyway, so what's the next step that you took? The next step that you took towards positivity?
So I believe that it's also about your headspace, right?
Yes, very
It's
important.
where your mind is. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most difficult part because you have to almost restructure your way of thinking and
Yeah,
even your way of living.
yeah.
Because, like you said, it's really, really hard given that we live in a world that there's a lot we cannot control
Mm-hmm.
to stay in a positive space.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm not perfect. I have my moments. But one of the things I pride myself in doing is don't stay in the moment. If it's not good, step out of it, shake it off.
Yeah.
It might sound very easy and it's not. And I'm not saying it's easy to just get up and be happy, but it's a mindset. And for you to get that mindset, you have to put in the work. You have to
Mm-hmm.
constantly tell yourself that, hey, listen, it could be worse. I remember
Mm-hmm.
my grandma as a child used to tell me, somebody went to the hospital and they were complaining about having a wound on their leg. And then they
Mm-hmm.
found somebody that did not even have a leg.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, okay. So maybe this wound is not so bad, right? So, yeah. And that's something my grandmom used to say to me as a very young girl. And I
Yeah.
think at that point, she was just basically trying to instill positivity in me that don't always look at things negatively.
Mm.
Don't always be first to accept that, listen, it could be worse.
Yeah. I think that's a very good tip. There's always a rainbow in the sky. You just have to look for it. I like
Right.
that. And another um, another tip I think that Yvette is
Like
saying, have a mental dump day. Yvette,
indeed.
I like that, but what does that mean? Can you explain a bit more? I think I get it, but just explain it a bit more so everyone gets it as well. Rachel says read or listen to motivational books, which is some of the things that we when we talked about, you said helped you. Some of the
Mhm.
Yeah. Yvette is
Yep.
saying again, journal your thoughts. Journaling is another thing that Yvette doesn't come naturally to many of us. Just writing down your thoughts. That feels that is a new age thing. I feel.
It is a new age thing, but I think in the past, we were being told some of the things that our grandparents and our moms used to tell us. It
Mm-hmm.
was sort of them sharing their experiences and thoughts, even though they were not in journal. For
Mm-hmm.
example, the story,
Mm-hmm.
like somebody would say, "Okay, look at my house doesn't have a roof," and somebody said, "Well, I don't even have a plot, right? I don't have
Yeah.
a land."
Yeah.
So yes, we could journal, write down our thoughts in today's world.
Mm-hmm.
We can actually, it's difficult for people that don't like writing, but we can also make mental notes, and just go back to, because we don't forget, our minds are very powerful.
Very
Our
powerful.
minds are super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a person, subconsciously, there are times when you will sit and you will think of an event that happened many, many years ago, or a situation, and you say to yourself, wow, I can't believe I went through this. And it could be good, it could be bad. But the mere fact that you think about it, tells you that your mind, it's an amazing tool.
Yes, you're very correct, Mimi. If you're just joining us, because I see a lot of people joining, welcome to the Woman Experience with Goretti. Thank you for joining us tonight, because today is my birthday, and if you haven't done so already, please go get yourself a glass of wine or something, and let's raise a toast to me and celebrate with me. I appreciate you for spending tonight with me. Honestly, I am so grateful. And if you're social media today, check me out. I'm in my birthday dress. I had to put on my birthday dress. So thank
You
you.
look beautiful.
Thank you, darling. So we're being positive today. It's a good day to be positive. It's June the 5th. I'm celebrating. So many of us are celebrating this day. So it's a very good day to be positive. And we are with the most, one of the most positive people I've met in recent times, Miss Princess Nkwepo. I'm so glad you're here to share some of your strategies on some of the ways that you've been able to get yourself to that place where you can fight against the negative and just center yourself and be that positive. So we are on the Woman Experience with Goretti. Thank you for joining. Vera said, so we are now talking about different tactics, strategies, ways to grow into positivity and maintain it. So, oh, sorry. Oh gosh, they've started going so fast. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for contributing. Vera says, identify your areas of negativity and work on it. I like
That's
that
right.
very much. Yes. Yenny says, honestly, I've always been a positive person, but used to be a warrior. I used to let things worry me a lot until I learned to let go. I don't expect from things or let them stay in my head or heart rent free. I deal with it, assess it, and if there's nothing I can do about it, I channel it to God and let go. Thank
Amen.
you for that. That's a very good tip. Thank you for that. Because when you said I've just learned to let things go. People always say that I've learned to let things go. What does that mean? How do you let things go? But you broke it down to say you deal with it, you assess it, and if there's nothing you can do about it,
Let it
it's
go.
in God's hands. I really like that. Thanks for sharing that. Brigitte says, do the things that boost up your positivity, which is something I read, which is all most of the books say that.
You
Even the
say that. Yeah.
positive thinking. Do the things that keep you in that mental positive state. Louisa says to go to be a positive thinker, you have to develop self-awareness of negative thoughts. It's a piecemeal process, but will become part of you with time. And
Mhm.
that actually, she hit the nail on the head for me, because one of the books I read actually suggested that identify your thoughts. The idle thoughts when you're just chilling, the thoughts are running
Mhm.
through your mind. You need to identify them to know what they are, because a lot of the times I realize that they're just the fear. They're very fearful thoughts that run through
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do,
Yeah, separating your thoughts, it's really a good way to deal with some of the negativity. Separating your thoughts,
mm-hmm,
knowing that, these I've done everything I could do with this problem. This situation is no longer mine to be worried about. I'm
mm-hmm,
gonna have to file it or whatever and move on, because like, one of the viewers said, it doesn't change anything that you're worried. It
yeah.
doesn't fix it that you're worried. It fixes it when you look for solutions.
Mm-hmm.
When you find solution to make it go from whatever bad it was to better, or move from the negative way of looking at it. And it could be anything in life, but finding a positive solution, or finding a positive outlook to whatever problem you're going through,
Mm-hmm.
makes it so much easier to deal with life in general.
That's good. Yvette is here explaining what the mental day is. Mental dump day is praying, meditating, etc. So if some of us can practice that, I think I like that mental dump day. Just the day where you say, you know what, I'm
Dump
doing
it
it,
up.
cleaning out. Let me clear the
Let
clean
me clean up.
yeah, a clean up there, mental cleanup. So do you think, Mimi, that there is a correlation between success and positive minds, positive thinkers?
I mean, I think that positivity, it's something that will bring you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It could be success, it could be peace of mind, it could be good health. But you're gonna still have very successful people that are not positive, right? So I don't think that um, positivity, it helps you. I mean, it helps you become successful, because your mind is always in the right place, because you're not always, drowning yourself in misery.
Mm-hmm.
However, you could still be very successful and be negative. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to always know how to differentiate the two. Being positive doesn't necessarily make you successful. Being
Mm-hmm.
successful doesn't mean you're necessarily positive,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because there are lots of successful people that are very negative.
What would you, what is success? What's your definition of success?
I think, from a woman's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
we attribute success to our children, our kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our household. So there's no one definition for success. A woman would tell you, I'm very successful because I've raised amazing kids. Kudos to her, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the essence of being a woman. And on the flip side, another woman would say to you, I'm very successful because I have a very successful career. Kudos to her. I would rather see more women claim their success and say, I am successful because I've done this, and that,
Mm-hmm.
then see them drown in sorrow.
Okay. I like that. Collie is saying when you are a very risk adverse and emotional person, it affects your mindset. You're always keeping a plan B, and thereby you're hardly above 70% positive. I think so many of us can relate to that. We always have a plan B at the back of our mind of some sort. So we're talking about success now. You've given us your definition of success, which I like. So um, to our guests, what's your definition of success? If you can just share what your personal definition of success is, because like everything in life, the definition of success to each one of us is very subjective. Everybody has their own measures of what success means to them. So if you can share so that maybe some of us can identify that, oh, okay, we kind of share the same values or whatever, that would be cool. What's your definition of success? I'd like to read it out so that we all can benefit from it, or some of us can identify with you, or some of
Yep.
us can think and think, I've never looked at that as a measure of success, and I've learned something new. So please, guys, what's your measure of success? Please share with us. So you said something which I really like, that you would rather see a woman own her success. Why do you think that it's so hard for us, especially African women, to own our success? Well, in success, in these terms, I'll define success as financial success, career success. Why is that so hard for us to own that success?
So we are on the show of the woman experience,
Yes.
right? So gentlemen, be patient with us. So let's talk about my idea of why women, especially in the African context,
Mm-hmm.
are not very quick to say, "Oh my God, I'm successful."
Mm-hmm.
I think for the most part, it started with you being raised as a young girl. They tell you, girl, kids are supposed to be heard, not seen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you grow up thinking, okay, I'm supposed to toe the line. I'm supposed to be subtle because that's what is expected of me as a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have women, and in my years of working in HR, when I was in talent acquisition, I had met so many women, very, very intelligent women. And for, I never got fired from that job, is that I was very lucky. I was working with pharmaceutical companies, and I would come across very smart women, usually of African origin. And I'll start having a conversation with them. And I said, talk to me about yourself. And the woman will go all around the place, but accept that, you know what, I've earned this degree, I'm a medical doctor, or I'm a PhD, I earned it, right? And they will go around and around and around. And I say, at the end, I say, you know what? I said, listen, it's okay to own it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first thing you say to a man, tell me about yourself. He says, I'm a doctor, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a PhD. But when you ask the same question to a woman, she will go around and around and around, because for the most part, we are not encouraged to own it, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
not encouraged to say, okay, I've worked really hard and here's where I am,
Mm-hmm.
because we want to be seen, not heard. Now, there's a thin line between being humble, or there's a thin line between, and I want to say this right, between being um, owning your stuff and
Mm-hmm.
being arrogant,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh, you're being arrogant. No, you could still own your stuff without necessarily being show off or arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, we don't do it because we are afraid of what the world thinks. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like with most things with us Black women, we don't own it because we worry too much about what the world will say, what our sisters and brothers are going to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big issue with us. And I see that a lot. I used to see that a lot when I was, looking for medical doctors, or doctors, with certain background, and I would bring them in the office, and you start talking to a woman, and she'll tell you, I went to this school. I say, who are you? Talk to me
Mm-hmm.
about you. It's so difficult to say I'm a doctor with 20 years of experience, but
Wow.
the minute you sit another gentleman that he says, I'm a doctor, I'm an MD, PhD, and this, and I used to pull the women aside and I said, listen, this is you. Nobody can take it from you. Own it.
Own it. I
Own
like
yourself.
that.
Own
I
it.
really like that. Own it. Own your success, women. I like that. It pulls the question I asked earlier. What's your definition of success? Share your definition of success so that we can find out if we relate to it, or some of us can see something, a different definition of success that we never thought about. So please share. Epuz Bawak says success is the ability to attain your expectations. That's what success is
That's
to her.
right.
I like that. I
I
really like.
like that.
Andrew says success is when you're achieving your goals. Yeah, so I think that's similar. Each time I set a goal and I attain it, then that is success. Okay,
That's right,
so
Bridget.
that's what Brigitte says. So success to so many people is goal or goal oriented. If I attain a goal, then I'm successful. And that's interesting though, because in our community, that's not what we know as success. Success is, have you built a house? Success is, are you a doctor? Success is, are you an engineer? Are you a lawyer? Do you have a first degree? Well, do you have a first degree, master's degree? That's not even success. Success is,
Doesn't
how much money do you have in your pocket to brag about, to oppress us with? A lot of the time, success in our community is what you have materially. So I'm really, 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 mm, I don't know how I feel about this goal oriented success, because that's really novel to me. I like it, don't get me wrong, I really like it, but I don't know if is it that's what it is to us in bush, as in if you're non-Cameroonian watching, those of us who are abroad, or are we just learning to make that success so that so that we don't have to necessarily attach it to those material things.
I
But
think I think success for the most part, like you've seen everybody who's defined it. Success is an like I think it's individual. Like it's an individual thing. You could see yourself successful because, like you said, you built a big house in Cameroon.
mhm,
Somebody might see their success as, okay, I raise amazing kids. Somebody might say, okay, I'm working the job that I've always wanted to do. Like, this is the job of my dream, so I'm successful. So I think success is really something that as individual you can attribute to yourself, like, okay, I did this, so I'm successful. And there's no one definition of success, I don't think.
I know, I agree with 100% with what you're saying, but I'm just saying it is so different from how we were raised. That's not the definition of success that I heard growing up. That's certainly not the definition of success. Yvette says success is very relative. To me, success is knowing when to say no and stick to it. Divine says success is when I meet my goals. Right. Our children are going to be all right at this rate. Success can be defined as achieving the goals you set for yourself, being happy with
That's right, Colin.
not lacking in self-esteem because you have validated yourself with your values. Success, again, is reaching goals. So many people, for them, success is, and if Ivan says, success is when you eat and you are well and you're pursuing your dreams. Again,
I like that.
Again, there is that goal. Yeah, because you can't be successful on an empty stomach.
I like that.
And the line says, being happy and fulfilled with where you are at every given time, that's success. See, I don't know if I'm impressed, but can we tell our parents all these definitions of success, please?
But the truth is we are living in different times.
Yes.
And all I want to say is to the ladies and gentlemen that are here today, please let's make sure that we're instilling these definitions that we're sharing with our children, because like GORETTI said, our parents did not see success the way we see it, but that's because they were growing up in different times. Their expectations were different. Their lifestyles were different. We are living in complete different times now. So the definition of success is really relative. It's relative to you as a person. And we need to instill this in our kids so that they start
and
thinking
our
that
parents, Mimi, and our parents.
It might be too late.
Our parents, so those of us who still have parents who are living, we need to tell them that it doesn't mean that if I've not built that house in Cameroon, that does not mean I'm successful. No, I'm happy in my life, so I'm successful.
Sure, but that might not really take us too far, because our parents, like have their mind, once they have their mind set, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, Wase says, true, GORETTI, we grew up with different values and morals. However, as we continue to grow up, these values sometimes get diluted. So to twist it we then start defining what we think is success. And I think, honestly, we're doing a fabulous job the way we are all defining success, which is something that's very subjective in itself. But the way we are all defining it, I think that our children are going to be all right. That pressure that a lot of us came to Europe with, to be able to do something material back home, buy land, build a house, buy a car for your parents, or all of that. I mean, some of those things.
Be a doctor and an engineer.
Be a doctor, even though your blood freaks you out, be an engineer. Those definitions of success, it takes a lot of pressure off so many of us, I think. So you were saying, this is for our guests and also to you, Mimi. You have said something which we really need to talk about, ladies. And for so many of you who are joining now, welcome to the Woman Experience with GORETTI. Our guest today is Princess Nkwepo, and we're talking about success, positivity, and all that good stuff. And by the way, if you're just joining, it's my birthday, and I see Tale Atechong, Dr. Tale Atechong, he's watching us, and it's his birthday as well. So happy birthday, Doctor. Thank you for joining the show. So you said something. Women, we are afraid. This is me paraphrasing. For some reason, we don't want to own our success. Ladies or guys watching, what is it in you? If you're one of those, if you can identify in that, what will make you hold your tongue or what will make you not own your success? And in a regular African community, what will make you not be bold enough? What stops you from owning your success? What are some of those things that stop? And Mimi, what do you think? What are some of those things that stop us women? What do you think? What are some of the things that stop us from owning that success which we deserve, or which we earned, rather, which we earned?
I think first thing is we're always worried about being judged. I think we worry too much about what people will say or what people think.
Mm,
And that's a very African thing. Like, when they say it takes a village to raise a child,
mhm,
that they embedded in us, that you worry so much about what the neighbors and the uncles and what your friends, what everybody thinks of you and how you carry yourself. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it could work both ways. It could be a great thing and it could be a bad thing.
mhm,
Because like I said, I had the pleasure to meet some really amazing women, talented women, smart women, but it used to kill me literally, knowing who I am
mhm,
when I talk to them and they don't own their stuff. And I used to have conversation outside of my office with some of these women.
yeah,
That's why I became a mentor, whatever. And this was me back then. I was still working on my, working to go to grad school. But I'm
yeah.
telling medical doctors, own it, own your stuff. And they're looking at me and they're thinking, Mimi, like, I can't believe you call me. I said, let me have your cell phone number. I'm going to talk to you on my way home, on my drive home. And I will call them and I will say to them, it was great meeting you, great conversation, but I want you to please own it. If you go to an interview and you don't sell yourself the way you're supposed to sell it, how do you expect somebody to buy it?
So what
Right?
did you find out, Mimi, were some of those reasons why they were not willing to own that success? What was it?
Their foundation.
Mm,
The foundation. And when I say foundation, I'm referring to their upbringing. We as women in the African culture, we have been silenced so much
mhm,
so that even after we grow up, we think that we've outgrown it, but we're not. We don't outgrow it. And it follows us around. It follows us when we become successful. You start worrying about what people will think and forgetting about how hard you've worked. And I always used to say to them, work hard, play harder, right?
mhm,
You've earned it. You've worked really hard to earn it. Enjoy
yeah.
it. Own it.
And this is and so many people actually in the comments are agreeing with you. Um, uh, Kathy says the fear of people not saying you're showing off.
That's a big one.
Collie says because it terms arrogance and attracts hatred and evil, wrong friends too.
Mm-hmm.
And is it again? Ivan says the few people will look them as failure if they don't have a husband or a kid. Also, they could be successful career wise, but if they're not married, they won't own it because they think.
Yes. I'm happy he brought that up.
Brigitte says, did you see my laugh? Hey, Brigitte says the way we grow up in the African culture, the woman is not to speak. Right. See,
That's
I
the
like
problem.
Wasa says it depends on your personality. Some people are quite private, some blow the trumpet. However, we women judge others and find ways to make you feel you're not good enough. Sometimes we try to own success by making others feel inferior. That's
Which is wrong.
yeah, which ties back to what Kathy says, that the fear of what, of seeming arrogant, or what was it she said? Was it Kathy that said
Yeah.
fear
Yeah.
of
So
people saying you're showing off?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so so I struggle with the showing off statement. When men are successful, their friends say, Bo, you did it, man. Boy, you
Yeah.
are amazing.
Yeah.
But when the woman is successful, her friend is like,
She thinks she's all
so
that.
it's a mind, it's all here. It's a mindset. And again, I said it goes down to our foundation. When we are raised in our culture, a
Mhm.
woman is told to stay quiet. In some cases, your place is in the kitchen. Okay.
The president of Nigeria actually said that. His
Yeah.
wife is well
You know,
educated. Her place is in the other room.
so now you're this woman who is very smart, very educated. You find yourself outside of the kitchen,
Yeah.
but you feel out of place because what is in your head, what has been embedded in your head.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's why the woman experience, that's why we have to talk about the power of positivity. We have to
Yeah.
talk about the power of knowing your self-worth, knowing where you are as a person in here, and knowing that what is in here, nobody else can take it away from you. It's yours.
And you should own it.
Own it.
You need to own it because it's yours.
Own
You've
it.
earned it. You've earned it exactly in the same, probably under even harder conditions than the man.
Under harder conditions,
There's a
maybe
lot of,
pregnant, maybe
yeah,
married, and taking care of a house. So own it.
yes, 100%. Collie says in Germany, there is a cultural difference as opposed to the US. The people don't own it. They are shy and believe pour vivre mieux vivre caché. So, I mean, you understand that.
I
So,
do.
ladies, what are we saying? What are we saying? What are we teaching ourselves? Because you see the attitude you guys had towards the definition of success. Did you see the change? We've all really evolved. Success has become truly subjective, and in such beautiful ways. Just a goal-oriented, personal happiness, being confident in one's skin. Those are our definitions of success. Ladies, let's change the definition of success. Let's change the way we own our success. Let's change our attitude to our success. Let's own it, right? Am I saying something that other women agree with? Can we own our success, and in what ways can we own our success without it being like showing? See, there's a very thin line between showing off
and owning it.
And owning it. A very, very, very thin line.
So let me ask you a question. Why don't men feel that way?
We've mentioned it in the comments. For a lot of us, it's cultural. It's cultural. We are beneath the man, and we know that. And even though we are out here and we're changing the definitions of success to ourselves, improving on our vocabularies, and basically enjoying a worldview, that culture, that thing, that
it's there.
Culture is stronger than we are actually we are aware of.
So I think it boils down to, ladies, people are always going to judge. People are always going to have something to say. And I say this to my mentees, and some of them are on the show right now. I always say, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you want to make sure you live your life to the fullest. As long as you're capable to give back and help others, you want to always make sure that your life, your way, right? And, living life, the best way you can by making the right choices. If you work really hard, if you make a choice that works out for you, say you decide to be a nurse and you work really hard to become a nurse, I don't understand why you cannot own it and enjoy being a nurse. You work hard, enjoy it, and own it. Now they're gonna say this. We're gonna talk about the thin line. When a man is a medical doctor, he walks into a room and he says, "I'm a cardiologist." Everybody's like, "Oh my God!" If a woman walks in and does the same thing, who is that? That's the problem. And most of the time, the folks that say, "Who is that?" are women.
Okay, so how do we change that mentality then? How do we change the attitude? I mean, just for the benefit of those who are watching, again, none of us are subject matter experts. None of us here.
We're not.
We are here to learn from each other's experiences. For those of you who are successful, actually, I have my auntie in the comments who has said something, who wrote something that got me like, because she's very successful in her own right. Auntie Louisa, you said, no, we cannot own it. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that we cannot own our success? Why can't we own our success? Or are you being sarcastic on why we cannot own our success? Because you're a very successful woman. And so that that bothered me.
That scared you.
Yes, because she's a role model to me, and if someone that's a role model to you says that kind of thing, Auntie Lisa, please explain it better, please. So I know what you mean.
So you don't have a headache.
I don't have a headache. I go home crying. I'm thinking, hey, my auntie that I look up to, that I want to be like, will not own her own success. And she's worked and earned every bit of that success. And that's the kind of woman I want to be like. So Auntie Lisa, I beg for my sake, and the sake of people who feel like me, why don't we own it? So again, anybody, Princess, any our guest, anybody who has any practical tips on how to just gently switch that mindset to start owning that success, can you share with us, please, before, before we run
I think
out
it
of
starts
time?
with
Yeah.
knowing. I think it starts with knowing your self worth, right?
Mm-hmm,
And I had a talk a year ago at at a conference for International Women's Day,
mm-hmm,
and I talked about self love, self worth, and self confidence, right? And how they all relate.
mm-hmm.
I think for the most part, it'll be very, very difficult to own it if you don't know your worth. It starts with knowing your self worth, knowing that I'm worth it. I
Yeah,
think that's the beginning. I'm worth it. I am me, and I've earned this,
yeah,
right? And owning it, right? Once you get to the point where you know your worth and you're okay with saying, you know what, I've really worked hard for this, probably
yes,
even twice as hard than some other person,
yeah,
you start, accepting it and say, okay, you know what, okay, this, I really deserve this. Because I
yeah,
think that's where it really starts. Look, sitting back and seeing how far you've come and saying, you know what, I don't only deserve this because I've worked really hard for it, I
mhm.
deserve this because I'm worth it.
So yes, somebody had said something to me. She, um, she asked me, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? And that question took me aback, because when I look in the mirror, I don't think I take time to look in the mirror unless when I'm trying to do my makeup. But she just
Nyanga.
told, yeah, she said to me, have just one day, just look at yourself in the mirror and write down or speak out what you see. Because when you speak out those things that you see, those are the things that you think you are. And so, and be honest to yourself, the words that come out of your mouth. If they are negative words, know that that's how you see yourself. And how you see yourself a lot of the times is you would unknowingly translate to how other people would see you. And
Mhm.
I thought, hmm, okay. And then I tried to have that conversation with myself, and I couldn't have an honest conversation. I was so ashamed. And I just thought, okay, because the things that I thought of myself, I didn't necessarily like very much.
Mhm.
Again, so I'm saying this to say that I agree with what you say, Mimi. That what is the messaging you're telling yourself, your self-worth? What is the messaging you're feeding your subconsciousness? What are you feeding yourself about you, women? Because when you begin to pick out that message, then you will know whether you're proud of who you are.
Uh,
And then yeah, you will know whether you're proud of you are. Dear, what do you think?
I mean, you start asking, like she said, looking in the mirror, that's a good one, and there's one thing I said, I don't remember who said to me, they need to start looking at themselves and loving themselves or liking what they see. And I said, whatever scar, whatever wrinkle, whatever mark, whatever, it doesn't matter what you have on your face, that's you. The sooner you own it, the sooner you accept it,
Yeah,
the easier life is going to become, right?
definitely.
Because what we see ourselves as, like she said, it's how we're gonna transcribe us to the world.
Yeah,
And I usually say, you want to write your story, make sure you are the author of your story, because if you are not the author of your story, others will write about you.
yeah,
So only you know you enough to author your book correctly. And that goes back to your worth. If you don't know your worth, then how are you ever going to know when somebody is treating you the way you deserve to be treated? How are you going to be able to portray yourself to the world the way the world deserves to see and know you as, right?
mm,
So it all boils down to finding your worth, knowing your worth,
I think so.
and learning how to deal with you as a person
Hmm.
first. And
Hmm.
it all goes back to, once you are in a good place, knowing your worth,
Hmm.
self-confidence, self-love, being positive, everything starts aligning, because you are in a space where nobody can tell you otherwise.
Yeah. which makes so much sense. This is why we wanted to talk about positivity, because we you cannot ignore how much being in a positive mindset affects the rest of your life. It affects so much more. And I'm really glad we're having this conversation. Auntie Louisa has come back to explain what she meant. She
I
says,
was waiting.
I mean, women are born to be successful and humble, but humility is missing within the women's circle as words of encouragement become words of criticism, leaving women low to own their success.
Amen.
It's true.
Amen.
But again, this is a no judgment zone. So when we
No
are here,
judgment
we
zone.
are sharing and we are learning. And I'm very, very proud. Again, I always said I'm so proud of the community that we're building in the women's experience, because it's a community of women who are forward thinkers and who want to change the status quo and who want to improve and better on themselves and improve their community. And so thank you for sharing that, Auntie Lisa. And that thing that she's shared, if you didn't read it, read Louisa Fotabe's comment. It is so true. Women, we are our own worst enemies.
Yep.
But it's going to take a lot for us to get to that place where every woman does not see you as a threat or does not use her insecurities. Because, ladies, if there's one thing I've learned, is this is the thing I'll share with you. People project their insecurities on you. When a woman is jealous of you, or is no, when a woman is being mean to you, you have something that she lacks. She knows that that thing that you have, she doesn't have it. Instead of coming to you to learn, her insecurities get the better of her and she becomes mean. That is something that in my 40, oh no, I'm 30. In my 30 years of life, in my 30 years of life, I have learned. It's true. Well, you don't agree with me, Princess?
I agree. I mean, I think that we're building a community, like you said, and I want us to remember that when we talk about the woman experience, we're talking about trying to build a community where women are for women. Women are more positive. Women are not afraid to speak up. It's a
Yes.
no judgment zone.
Oh, yes.
It's a place that many, many years ago we couldn't be sitting here and having these conversations. But we're in such a good place today, and it could even be better if
Yes.
we stay we stay the course, right? We
Yeah.
stay on this path and we continue to talk and you know look at those things that makes us remain um in a position that we shouldn't be at, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like we need to be forward thinkers. We are very powerful. So most of the times when I talk with women, I say, you are a powerhouse. You just don't know it. For the mere fact that you were born a woman
Mm-hmm.
makes you an incredible being, makes you a strong woman. And all you need to do most of the time is dig deep down and find the strength that is within you.
Yeah.
And I go back to that because we're talking about positivity. We know that for the most part, we are usually our biggest nightmares. We're usually our biggest enemies.
Yeah.
But times are changing. That's why we are here today. Times are changing. We're talking about it. We're figuring out ways to address the situation. We're figuring out ways to move forward. I have to mention this. The other day we did the show on menses or menstruation or women menstruation day or whatever.
Yeah.
And almost I think it's like 2 days later, I saw that one of the viewers who was on that show had posted something in reference to screen. It was Stephanie Toom, screen plays on menstruation and stuff like that. And I couldn't help but smile because I
Mm-hmm.
said, only us can make the changes that we want. Only us can take steps towards the changes that we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's conversations like this, it's platforms like this that will enable us to shift away from the negativity that is associated with us, especially within us, and start looking at things positively.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hear you, Miss Positivity. See why in the beginning I said this woman is positivity bona fide? She finds a way to keep it positive. I love that. And
I'm
honestly,
just
it's a
saying.
miracle. It really is a miracle. And I think we'll all aim to strive to be like that. And for all of you who are laughing at me in the comments and saying I'm 30, of course I'm 30. See you. I am 30, but don't worry. From 30
30 and counting.
to 40. But yeah, so honestly, no, I really love these conversations. And like you're saying, but the truth is, just like that positive thing example that we're giving about cutting your finger, even if it, you cannot ignore the fact that the finger bleeds. You cannot. And so we cannot ignore the fact that women, we are our own worst enemies. But we cannot ignore that. And which is what Auntie Lisa was saying. But then it's going to take a while. It's going to take years for us to get to that point where we are all elevated enough to see each other as friendly competition. So until we get to that part in life, it may even be our children who would live in that kind of world. Until that, we have to deal with the negative women in our sphere of life. And so we cannot ignore them. All I'm saying is, again, trying to be as positive as you, just understand that envy, that jealousy, that ridicule that the person is throwing your way, it's their insecurity. They're
and
weak.
kill them with kindness. Kill them with
So
love.
find a way, exactly, find a way to be the bigger person and kill them with kindness, educate them, invite them to the woman experience. Let's all have this. Let them come and learn something. Yvette, thank you so much. Honestly, but before you go, Mimi, thank you all. I think we've all learned so much from this conversation, and I'm so glad. But I have Marie-Angèle, who is joining us from Douala, who is a dear friend of mine and sister of mine, who wants to wish me a happy birthday. So please just bear with me. Hi, sis.
Hi, darling.
How are you? Thank you so much.
Okay.
Well, we thank the network, since morning I've been praying for this network.
And it's behaving itself.
Hi, Mimi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Well, GORETTI, before the network takes me off, I just wanted to come on and tell you that like a phoenix, you rise. We've known each other for, you say you are 30, right? Okay,
Yes.
we've known each other for 30 years.
Yes.
And yeah, so I can say something about you, and I can say that I saw you grow up in a household with boys and have your voice. And so I don't see where in life again you can grow up or you can live on and not find that voice. And so I'm very proud of you, of this platform, of all the ups and downs you've had, and like a phoenix you rise. So yes, be positive. I just want to add, have an attitude of gratitude, like in every circumstance, every day, every time. Focus on what you are grateful for and not what you are losing and all of that. And for me, success is very simple. If after all is said and done, I can still love that experience, I can still learn from that experience, I can still laugh over that experience, then I'm good. I don't measure it in terms of money, in terms of ratings, in terms of all of that.
Right.
It is an inside thing for me. And once I'm good with that, then I'm good. And I own it. I saw some sisters write about owning it, flaunting it. You know me, right? I call myself magnetic. So I just
Own it.
brand myself. I just be me. I just do me. And yeah, so I just wanted to wish you that.
Thank you so
And to
much.
say, well, do have a blast.
Thank you, darling. Thank you
Good
so
night.
much. Oh, thank you. That's my
That's
sister.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right there. That's
Positive
women
thinking.
fixing each other's crowns. I love
That's
that,
right.
Mary. Thank you so much. Honestly, Mimi, it's been a joy, and we're going to revisit this conversation because we need this positivity from every angle to serve as a reminder. And honestly, ladies, this woman, when it comes to positivity, she's the real deal. It's there. She's not a fluke at all. There's so many of us who post positive messages all day long on social media, and then when you meet us in person, we are downers. But she really isn't. In private conversations on social media, she's the same jewel that she is. And I'm so honored that you were able to come on the show today.
Thank
And
you.
for everyone who has contributed tonight, who took some time off to be on the show, to spend my birthday with me, I hope you enjoyed your wine. I'm going to enjoy mine and eat my cake. I'm going to eat a piece of my cake. People are dancing in my house right now, and I'm here with you. So I'm going to join them. Mimi, thank you. Any last words for everyone who's been watching today, please?
So, thank you so much for having me. And, before I go, I would like for us to, just remember those we've lost recently, to COVID-19 and to, all the illnesses and, folks that have left us to be, I guess we're in a better place. Even if it's violence, true violence, or even if it's illness, we want to remember them. Right before I got on your show, I got a call from one of my mentees, and she had lost her best friend, Gloria Ashu, is a girl from Cameroon. So, praying that she rests in peace. Women, before I leave, I want us to remember that it is very, very important that we embody who we are. We embody our strength. We are powerhouses. It might take us forever to get to the place where we own it. But remember, it took forever for us to get to where we're talking about it.
Certainly.
So as long as we are moving forward, we're definitely making a difference, for the girls that are to come. So own your stuff, embody your strength, because the fact that you were born a woman,
Yes.
it means you were born with amazing strength. You might not know it until you get into a situation. And then when you come out of it, and you're like, wow, I cannot believe I had to go through this and I made it to the other side. So ladies, please embody yourself. Do your best to remain positive. As difficult as it sounds, there will come a time when you look at issues, you're gonna be like, okay, like Goretti said, at least my finger, I didn't chop it off. Okay, it's just a wound and it hurts, and it's bleeding, but at least it didn't fall off.
Yes.
And even if that finger fell off, there's still 4 other fingers that you should be grateful that you still have on your, on your hand. So let's be positive. Let's embody who we are. Let's fix each other's crown. Let's keep talking about, what will make us better as women. Let's keep visiting those subjects or those topics that were taboos in the past, that were difficult to have in the past. Let's remember that people are always going to judge us. And if we focus on what they're thinking and their judgment, then we're slowing our own growth. So we need to keep, moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was
Mimi.
amazing. And please try to remain positive.
I'll be calling on you on the hard days. Thank you so much.
I'm here.
Okay, and I'm just gonna keep you backstage while I close with the audience. And for all those who are wishing me happy birthday, Aggie Real says first day on the platform is divinely inspired. Oh, thank you. What a compliment. Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. Thank you. Some people are still at work. I know, Auntie Louisa, you see, own it because you work so hard for everything you have. So thank you, Auntie Louisa, for being the role model that you are to me, and not just a role model, my prayer warrior, my dearest cousin who is always there when I call. I appreciate you. I love you. You know that. Thank you. Sheba, thank you. Thank you for the birthday messages. Thanks, Mimi Nkwepo, for everything you said today. Some own it already and some are still to find themselves and to earn it, as you both mentioned. We will get there. I am so glad that we are all thinking like that. And Mimi, you have so many fans. You are a rock, my wife. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you all. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for the men who always tune into this show. Honestly, we appreciate you because you're taking this back to the community and you're telling the men folk, that the women are changing. We are no longer our mothers. We are not the girls that you used to know. We're growing into ourselves. We are embracing some of the things that we're learning. We're making ourselves to be the role models that we see. We're modeling ourselves into those role models that we see. So take the message back. Ladies of the women experience, this is our community. We're building each other. We're fixing each other's crowns. That's what we do here every Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. So come, let's take whatever it is we learn here through our shared experiences and go back and impact on the lives of other women, because that's what we are. We are the foundation. We're the bedrock. We are the mothers of society, and we should be able to create the society that we want, one woman at a time, one woman fixing another's crown at a time. And I know that we're on the right path. I'm so proud of you. I am so blessed. I am surrounded by amazing women. I really have a sisterhood that I am so honored. I don't even know how I finally found myself in that, but it's an honor to be in among those women. And like Marie, who came on the call today to wish me a happy birthday, I appreciate you, sis. And women, ladies, don't believe the stories. We, as much as we can be our worst enemies, we are crown fitters. That's my term. If you find the right group of women, they will raise you up to the sky. They will raise you up way beyond your wildest dreams. And you can find that. Be honest to yourself, be honest with who you're looking for, and throw it out there to the universe, and it will be provided to you. So thank you for spending my evening, my birthday with me. Shout out to iWing Marketplace, www.iwingmarketplace.com. It is owned by our very own Ivan Yen. So it's a marketplace. Ladies, let's go see what's there. Yes, thank you for the reminder, Collie. Mimi, well, Mimi is going to send us at the end of this. Can you, in the comments, Mimi, can you leave the books that you read, the books that have helped you along your journey, so that some of us can buy it and it can also help our journeys. So thank you everyone, and thank you, Adeline. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend, and love from us. And we'll see you next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Rendezvous. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Thank you.